Hello everyone, this is Mike with Carolina Blue Smoke Barbecue and Outdoor Cooking. And today we're going to check out a little recipe, little sandwich that was actually inspired from we love cruising, going on a cruise ship, Carnival. In the Havana Bar area, they have these little Cuban sandwiches or Cubano sandwiches, how you want to call them. And they are actually really good. They have ham, cheese, pulled pork, a little bit of spicy mustard on them. So I started thinking about that, and with Christmas that just passed, I said, hey, we're going to do some pulled pork anyway on the Rectech RT700 pellet grill. Let's make some Cubano Cuban sliders, how you want to call them, and throw those things out there for everybody to see how they like it. I'm going to tell you what, these turned out awesome. So try this recipe out. If you got extra pulled pork left over, or hey, when you're doing pulled pork sandwiches, you want something a little bit different, we're going to show you the recipe right here, and try these out. They're actually really, really good. Please consider subscribing to Carolina Blue Smoke Barbecue and Outdoor Cooking. All right, these are the ingredients that you're going to need to baste your buns at the very end. You're going to need some W sauce, some Dijon mustard, some minced onions, and a stick of butter, preferably non-salted, but all I had was salted in this one. They still turned out great. All right, we're going to start out with some W sauce. We're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of your favorite W sauce. As you notice, we went ahead and pre-melted our butter ahead of time, our stick of butter. Now we're going to use some minced onions, and this is going to be 1 tablespoonful of minced onions. You can change that to your liking on it. Then we're going to use some Dijon mustard. On this, we're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Now we're going to whisk this up really well, set this over to the side, and let's start building this sandwich. As I mentioned earlier, we were doing a couple Boston butts for our family Christmas, and so I'd already pre-cooked some Boston butts, but we used this fresh. So this was not in the refrigerator as a leftover, but you could definitely use leftover pulled pork on these sandwiches. This had a great smoke taste to it to add to these sandwiches. So these are Hawaiian Rolls. They come in a 16 count. I'd got these from Sam's Club. You just cut this in half. I got a little bit high there in the middle, so you want to keep it a little bit lower so you don't mess up the tops. But you just cut this in half, and again, I did 2 of these for our family function at Christmas time. You just leave them stuck together at the very end after you cook these. That's when you want to put these on a flat pan, maybe a cookie sheet, and that way you can cut them up and make them smaller, because that pulled pork will make it a little bit hard to cut them. And here I just layer both the top and the bottom with some of this Dijon mustard, same mustard that I used in making the solution that we're going to paint and baste on the outside of these. You just spread this really well on the top and bottom. And this mixture of this Dijon mustard, if you don't like Dijon mustard, you don't have to put this on there. It just really, in my opinion, set this off between having that, the cheese, the ham, the pickle, pulled pork. I just thought it was a great compliment to them. All right, if I made a mistake, I'm going to tell you. I thought these would fit down inside this half pan. They didn't quite fit. So again, as I mentioned earlier, I'd probably just use a regular cookie sheet, or you could use a full pan. You'd have plenty of room inside a full pan. But it wasn't that big of a deal to it. It just made it harder at the end cutting them apart, all 16 of these, and trying to separate them for people. But here I had some Black Forest smoked ham, just some deli ham. Whatever you want to use. Hey, if you got some real ham that you've used from a holiday and you got it left over, that'd be great on these as well. But these are just thin, again, Black Forest smoked ham. You put a layer of that on it, and then we're going to go with our next item, which is going to be Swiss cheese. If you prefer provolone, you can do that, but I tried to go with what was traditional on a Cuban sandwich, and so we put a layer of Swiss cheese here next. This is a key ingredient, and this is slice dill pickles. You can get the dill pickles and slice them yourself, or already buy them pre-bought, pre-sliced, and that's what we did here. You want to put a layer of these on top of the cheese, and then we're going to come back with some pulled pork that was freshly taken off the smoker. So we're building this thing up one step at a time, but I'm telling you what, this is some goodness. This is the fun part, when you get to get big old handful of this pulled pork that you freshly took off the smoker. Again, you can use this as leftovers and do something different a different day. But man, on this day, this hot pulled pork that I had just shredded, we're putting it on top as a layer. Don't skimp on this. This is really a key part of this sandwich. But put a whole layer of this on. Then we're going to put the top back on, and then the solution we mixed up earlier with the minced onions, the W sauce, the butter, and we're just going to and the Dijonage, the Dijon mustard. We mixed that all up earlier. And at this point, depends on how long it took you to do it, you probably want to whisk it up again. But then we're just going to paint a layer of this over top. This whole time we got our smoker running at about 250 just to add a little bit of smoke to it. You're going to put it on the smoker for about 15 to 20 minutes, then bump that temperature up to 350 at the very end. All you're wanting to do is add a little bit of smoke to these, to this bread, and also melt that cheese. Once that cheese starts melting, go ahead and pull it off. I will tell you this, again from experience, I start out putting aluminum foil over top of this so that it doesn't brown the bread too much, and then take it off towards the end, but you got to watch it closely or you'll burn the bread. All right, this is the finished product, and man, these things turned out great. As you can see, I almost got a little bit too dark on some of these, so again, be careful on that temperature with burning the tops of these. But you definitely need to try this the next time you have some pulled pork, either left over or you're doing a party. These right here will be the hit. I promise you that. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe.